Hey, I'm Pat Porter. I'm the broker for RecLand Realty. Here we talk about the rural real estate business and ideas and information to help you better manage and enjoy your own property. In this video, I'm going to answer another one of our frequently asked questions. Pat, I'm a real estate agent, but I want to learn how to do land. How do I do land? How do I become a land agent? That question has been asked a variety of different ways, but that's the gist of it. First of all, you got to understand there's no special license to be a land agent. If you have a real estate license here in the United States, you're licensed to sell rural real estate. But real estate license, it covers land too, so you're already partway there. When it comes to being a land agent versus, say, if you're a residential agent now, or you're selling commercial, or a combination of the two, and because of where you live or your own personal interest or your background, you're thinking about wanting to be a land agent. The biggest difference is learning what I call the evaluation component of a property. The evaluation component is learning a property's highest and best use. Now, you've heard that before if you have a real estate license. That's one of the main things in appraisal work and being able to properly price a property is first determining its highest and best use. Lady calls you up and wants to sell 131 Elm Street. You know its highest and best use. It's residential property 99 times out of 100. Somebody has a building on the corner of 3rd and Jackson. It's commercial property. Somebody wants to sell 115 acres out on such and such highway. On the phone, I don't know its highest and best use. I've got to go look at it and make some determinations about what that property is best used for. Well, Pat, it's got trees all over it, so it's a timber property. No, it's not either. Man, it's really pretty, Pat, so it's obviously going to be a great place for residential development. Come on, no, you can't make that determination just because it's pretty and got some trees on it and got a road access. No. The evaluation component and learning the property's highest and best use is something that takes a little getting used to. That will be your biggest difference in transitioning from residential commercial into being a land agent. Quickly identifying what's this property's best use. That's number one. Number two, you've got to have what I call the practical component. That's where you start acquiring the tools to be able to do your job. If somebody wants to list 120 acres with you, do you have the software to be able to map it, to provide aerial maps, to provide topographic maps? Do you have the software to be able to learn what the soil types are on that property if it's ag property? If it is a timberland tract, do you have the ability to figure out what the site index for whatever species trees that it's growing? Do you have those tools to be able to learn that? Do you have access to flood mapping data, which you probably do if you're good in what you do with residential? You probably know how to get permits to know what the topography is and how it's classified as a flood zone. You probably know that, but a lot of people don't. So you got to start acquiring these tools. 90 acres out on such and such road, and it's in certain area of the country. Do you have the ability to even get to it? And then to get around on it. You can probably drive your Escalade over to 131 Elm Street, but I've got 160 listings in our company right now, and a whole lot of them you can't get to with your Escalade, I can promise you. So do you have the tools to be able to get to a property and then get around on it? Most of us drive four-wheel drive pickups. We've got four-wheelers and utility vehicles, side-by-sides, and crew cab and all that to be able to get around on property and to show property. So don't get me wrong, you don't have to go out and buy all that and have all that to be a land agent, but there's probably coming a time that you're going to need these type of tools to be able to really focus in on this business and to really be able to specialize in it. Do you know difference in timber types, different species? Do you understand grasses? Can you tell the difference between Bahia grass and Bermuda grass if you're selling pasture land and ranches? You don't have to know all that up front, but you will have to start acquiring that information as you go. When I got started in RecLand, I could tell the difference between a hardwood tree and a pine tree, but it took just a little while before I could start distinguishing the difference in all the different oak species there are, and the different hardwood species, and even now pine, all the different pine there are. And I'm not an expert at it by any means, but my goodness, the information I know today versus when I started, I mean, it's a world of difference. Starting to learn these types of things and acquiring these tools, and some of the tools are physical tools like mapping software, and but others are mental tools where you start gathering pieces of information and knowledge that are unique to rural real estate, so that you can better understand a property, better tear it apart to understand its use and how it can be developed, and know the things that are positive about it and negative about it. You got to start developing those tools. And the third thing is what I call the marketing component. Understanding a tract well enough that you can position it properly in your write-up, in your description, in the advertising where you put it out to the world, so that the right people are looking at it for the right reasons. Just because, say, somebody comes along and you're brand new in the land business, and Uncle Johnny gives you a 120-acre listing, and it's beautiful trees, big trees all over it is what he tells you, and you go look and go, yeah, it's covered up. There's a lot of big trees out here. What a beautiful timber tract. No, not necessarily. Have you looked at the site index? Do you know the timber markets in the area? Can you look at that timber and tell, hey, is this merchantable timber or not? You got to start understanding things well enough so that you can properly market the tract. That beautiful wooded tract that Uncle Johnny gave you the list may very well be a great rural home site. Maybe a terrible timber tract, but a great rural home site because it's got excellent access. It's got water and electricity available to the property. It's in a certain area where the schools are great and growing, and that part of the county or parish is really starting to really blossom and bloom. People are wanting to be out there. It could be a great residential development tract. Just because it's got big trees on it doesn't make it a timber tract. Just because it's got good road access doesn't make it a good residential development tract. Learning how to properly market a tract is a big, big deal. Here's a prime example. We oftentimes get farms that we need to sell. Great irrigated and leveled, row crop ground. Great farms. And farms are, a big deal. I mean, they bring good price in our part of the country. But there are certain farms that, because of the way they're situated and because of the wells and the water control structures and their locations, are great duck hunting properties too. You got farming here, you got duck hunting here, but they happen to be on the same piece of ground. Those two items are highly desirable by the same types of people. So being able to recognize sometimes how a tract has kind of the best of two different worlds, and to be able to market them like that uniquely and put it out there, sometimes your phone will ring off the hook because you've got a tract like that and you've marketed it correctly. I just use that as a single example. Knowing how to properly market a tract is a big, big thing. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,900 square feet, 131 Elm Street, so-and-so schools. You can write that up in your sleep. But some of the marketing components for rural properties take a little more doing than just that. First of all, if you want to be in the land business, you can do it. You've already got the license. It's just a matter of making a mental shift and go in a different direction. You don't have to go get a special land license. Now, there are certain types of designations for land people, just like there are with commercial and residential, but the licensing is the same. You're good to go. The rest of it is motivation, hard work, and learning some unique pieces of information and acquiring some very specific industry-related tools to be able to do it. What I recommend to you, if you are truly interested because of where you live and your background or just your own personal interest, go sit down with a real estate broker somewhere in your region there where you are that's in the land business. Pour your heart out to them, tell them what you're thinking, tell them what you want to do, and just lay it out and listen closely to what they say. It may be something that works for you. Thank you for watching our videos. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Appreciate those of you that have followed all of these frequently asked questions. Hope some of it's been useful in some way. Check back because there'll probably be some more. And if you've got any questions, just shoot them down there in the comments. Reach out to me any way you'd like to, and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thank you very much. Bye.